360 albums, Tourney. Matchup 19, I think. Pits 111 Heavy versus None. 111 Heavy's album is Poolside, I believe, going up against Inevitable by None. We'll start with 111 Heavy. 111 Heavy was submitted by Partly Truth, and None was submitted by Austin of Panopticon. So, 111 Heavy, we'll start there. I'm buddies with James Jackson Toth, or Toth, I don't know how you pronounce his last name. I just call him James, who's in this band, but I hadn't listened to this album at all prior to this matchup. I'm very familiar with his work with Wooden Wand, and a couple of those albums are in the 360 albums Tourney, and they're going to be tough matchups for whatever they're matched up against. But I hadn't listened to this album at all. It's a complex album. It's not easy passive listening. I mean, there's lots of jam moments. It's for fans of Grateful Dead, Fish, Neil Young, Little Feat, Bob Dylan, things of that nature. And all the songs, I think, would be infinitely better live, because then the musicians can stretch out into jams, and organically all these songs would grow. I'm not going to say the second half of Grateful's name, because I know how TikTok algorithms treat that word. Jerry Garcia and Bob Weir and Phil Lesh and company, the songs that sound more like that are the songs that I personally gravitate to on this album. There's a couple songs like Michael Landon that reminds me a touch of Dylan. Some of the vocals, and they may be by James, kind of sound like a very difficult to digest Neil Young voice. Kind of doesn't resonate with my ears right off the bat. It might grow on me. I suspect this album will grow on me over time. But it's a very good album, and you probably never heard of 111 Heavy, and you need to check this out if you like Jerry Garcia and company, if you like Fish, if you like Dave Matthews Band, if you like Bob Dylan, Neil Young, any bands like that, Beatles. I hear a good amount of Beatles shining through. You definitely need to check this album out, and you'll be the first person you know other than myself checking it out, likely, because it says they only have 215 monthly listeners on Spotify, which I think is preposterous. But I'd imagine most folks that are into Wooden Wand and 111 Heavy are into buying vinyl copies and listening to it organically, and having the actual physical product in their hand, as opposed to streaming platforms, which is possibly this next band, None, possibly their fans might gravitate more towards a streaming platform. They're from the Pacific Northwest. They're a black metal band, and the Pacific Northwest has a rich history of some excellent black metal bands, from Wolves in the Throne Room, Zasthur, Uada, who else? I'm kind of blanking here on the spot. I'm blanking on several. Excellent. Aglock. And I mispronounce things. I probably mispronounced some of those bands, but it's okay. It is what it is. But let's talk about this Inevitable album by None. It sounded really strong the past 3-ish days. And what I do with these matchups is sometimes I'll only listen to the two albums on the day of the matchup. Sometimes I'll start ahead. It just kind of depends on how the other matchups go. Some of these matchups, the albums pull apart really fast. One just is infinitely better than the other ones. This has been a seesaw matchup, just up and down, up and down, up and down. I've been doing a tug of war with myself, trying to figure out which album's going to advance. But the None album has always sounded really good. This is just a style of music that I gravitate to, especially this time of year. This morning, 5-ish in the morning, I was driving to the gym, and the salt trucks hadn't hit the road, and we had several inches of snow. overnight, and the snow was coming down, and it was just the darkness and the snow and the stillness mixed with this Nun album so well. I mean, I really like certain types of music when it's very cold out and when it's snowy. Uh, Bands like Passage de Hiver, probably mispronounced that too. Unleashed, which is definitely more up in the energy. Sometimes Immortal, who are kind of clownish, but my brain's like, it's cold out. I got to listen to some Viking music. Bathory, the more Norse sounding Bathory stuff. Those are all things that I enjoy listening to when it's really cold out. And this album by Nun is going to be in the rotation. I got tipped off to this subgenre of black metal lately, really diving into Nordic Winter. I've really been enjoying their material. Last year it was the top 5 artists that I listened to over all others was Nordic Winter, and I think this Nun album's probably better than any of the Nordic Winter albums. I dare say it might be approaching the realm of a masterpiece for this subgenre. I mean, I'm not well versed in this subgenre of black metal, and I don't really care for the name of the subgenre because I've lived a grieving journey for folks that have moved on to the next life cycle through what this subgenre's name is. And for those who know, they know, and those who don't. We're just talking about an album. But this album, it's almost like a masterpiece. It is so beautiful. And I know this genre is supposed to, kind of focus on depression and darkness and bleakness, but it has the opposite effect on me. I find it calming, cathartic, and contemplative, and just enlivening. I mean, it just kind of energizes me. Now, it's not the best for gym work, push-ups, sit-ups, dips, crunches, squats don't blend with this style of music very well. The 111 Heavy album was much better at the gym. It's a very energetic album. It's complex and kind of, it's like it's hard to get in a specific rhythm because it's kind of made more to dance, spontaneously as opposed to, getting out reps. But it's definitely the better of the two at the gym. But this album by Nun, it's mostly, it's got growling, but it has some whispering moments. And oh man, those are just like chilling. I don't even know what the lyrics are about. Probably wouldn't really gravitate towards the lyrical themes, but just the mood of it. I mean, I'd prefer for it to not even be in English because I don't care. It's like some of the Ukrainian bands that I love. They're not singing in English, and I have no concern about what the lyrics are. I prefer not to know because it's like classical music. Just the voice is another instrument, and that's kind of the vibe I get with this. So this is one of those matchups where I'm going to mourn for the album that doesn't advance because I won't be listening to it all that much this year, but I am going to make sure that I dig in on the album that's not advancing, and I suspect that it'll grow on me quite a bit. But anyway, advancing to the round of 180 albums is Inevitable by Nun, which probably you've not listened to, just like you probably not listened to the 111 Heavy, but I hope you change that and listen to both of these. But let me know. You listen to either or both of these? Have you dialed it up since this matchup? And if so, let me know what you think. All right, cheers. Top songs. So on 111 Heavy, I really like Rizzo and the Wig. I don't know if they're talking about Jay-Z or the player for the Chicago Cubs, or if Rizzo's just a dude from Long Island or what, but that's really good. And then on None, they're all so great, but I'd probably go A Reason to Be because this kind of music for me is enlivening.